Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Estate Investing. I'm Joy, and today we have a guest who's going to talk to us about investing in notes in real estate. Her name is Lorraine Millington of Melanin Homes, and I'm going to let her talk a little bit about herself now.
Thank you for that introduction, Joy. I'm really excited to be on your channel and to speak with you and your audience today. And so, like you mentioned, my name is Lorraine and my company is Melanin Homes, and we're a real estate solutions company. So my team and I, we primarily focus on single and multifamily residential redevelopment, but our primary focus is in mortgage note investing. And so my team and I, we not only work with property owners who are in unique situations and try to provide them with flexible solutions, but through mortgage note investing, we have the ability to provide individuals as well as investors with the opportunity to diversify their portfolios and actually be the bank.
Okay. And that's what I want to do. So I'm very excited to have you here today. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. If you could first just tell us, for those who don't know, what is a note?
So a note is essentially, it's a written instrument that serves as an IOU between a borrower and a creditor. And it outlines the amount to be paid, which is generally considered to be the principal. It also identifies the interest rate or the amount of interest to be paid on that principal. And then it also determines the term or the length of time that it will take for, or that it should take for the borrower to pay back the creditor.
Okay. All right, awesome. So in this situation, you don't actually own a property, you don't deal with any tenants, you are, like you said, the bank, correct?
Right. And if you think about it, I mean, most of us are kind of already involved in notes of some kind. I mean, when you think about maybe if you had to take out a student loan for education, or if you purchase a car, whenever we're financing or leasing a car, we're signing a note, which is again the promise that you are going to pay back the creditor for the amount of money that they're loaning to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then even now, cell phones. I mean, a lot of us are leasing cell phones now and not necessarily paying for cell phones outright. And so the lease program or the flex program, however they decide to term it, that is essentially a note. I mean, you are signing an agreement to say you're going to pay a certain amount of money for a certain length of time in order to be able to use an asset. So outside of the real estate industry, I think, again, a lot of us are already involved with notes. But when we think about notes in terms of the real estate industry, is like you said, it is the paper associated with the property. So when you're looking into mortgage note investing, you're not necessarily looking to purchase the property, but you're purchasing the paper associated with the property.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you are the expert in investing in notes. So can you just kind of, don't laugh, you are. All right, so can you just kind of describe for us what is the process that you go through when you're doing I don't know if you call it a note transaction, but what's the process of investing in notes?
And before I touch on that question, I will say that there are different kinds of paper associated with properties. So you have a promissory note, you have a deed, you even have lease options. So those are some of the variations involved when you're purchasing paper associated with the property. And, you know, to get back to your question, I find that there are a couple of steps or a couple of things that you should have in place if you're looking to invest in mortgage notes. First, I would say, depending on whether you're a regular investor or an individual, you should always have an entity established for yourself, whether it's an LLC or even if you are just an individual looking to invest, you can use a retirement vehicle such as a self-directed IRA in order to be able to invest. And the reason why I suggest having an entity is because whenever you're looking to purchase property or make this type of investment, you want to make sure that it's outside of your name. You want to make sure that that is separated from your personal assets. And that's just with any type of investment, in my opinion. You want to at least have a separate business entity, or again, a retirement vehicle in place. Another thing that I would suggest is you kind of have to be flexible when you are looking to invest with mortgage notes. And I say flexibility because there are so many different exit strategies that are available when you're looking to invest in mortgage notes. So I find that a lot of times, especially with real estate, sometimes we're tied to one outcome or the other. I'm just focusing on wholesaling, or I'm just focusing on rehabbing, or just a buy and hold, which, and I apologize for using too much trade lingo, but buy and hold meaning that you're purchasing a property and renting it out as if you were a landlord. So when you're looking at mortgage notes, I would definitely suggest one strategy to have is to be flexible. The third, I would say, would be to have, you essentially need some capital in order to be able to invest. If you don't have capital of your own, then you can potentially, partner with someone who is looking to diversify their portfolio, or who has cash that maybe they're a little wishy-washy about what's going on with the stock market or other investments. They maybe have money, they may have money in a savings account that's paying, I think at this point, negative interest. So,
right.
If you don't have
1%.
right, I think it's like half of a penny, if that's even possible. So if you don't have capital of your own, my suggestion would be trying to partner with someone who actually does have money that they're looking to make work for them a little bit better.
Absolutely. You be the brains and they're the money.
Right. And that's something that I can talk more about a little bit later in our conversation, but that's something that I offer to my clients as well, the ability to not only look for investments on their behalf, but actually do all of the due diligence and the research, and basically deliver to them, a nicely wrapped investment that they would be able to go forward with.
So you mentioned potentially partnering up with other people, doing a JV, or the fact that you might need to have some capital set aside on your own. So about how much of a capital investment would it be?
That's a great question, mainly because I think a lot of the misconception in trying to invest with mortgage notes is that you need to have a huge amount of capital. And in my experience, I've seen notes anywhere from less than 10,000 to six figures. So I think really the opportunities or the possibilities are available if you have a small capital investment, or even if you have lots of money that you're looking to make work for you. As an example, like the mortgage note that I'm currently invested in, I had the option, or I had the ability to purchase it for less than $10,000, and currently this note is paying me at least $500 a month. So you can get started for low capital. I mean, again, you still have to have some capital or some sort of skin in the game if you're not partnering with someone else. But you are able to still get involved and get your feet wet in this investment.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the thing that holds a lot of people back. They're like, I don't have any money. And I always tell them, well, if you don't have it, somebody has it. You can private investor, you can JV, ask your rich aunt and uncle. Somebody has it. If you have good credit, you can get a loan. So there's always kind of a way. So it's good to know that, the investment doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think that'll be very encouraging to a lot of people. So.
And what I think a lot of people don't realize as well is, like, let's say you used to have, you're no longer working for a job, or you used to have a 401k at their job. A lot of people have 401ks at their old jobs. They either never rolled it over to their new employment, or they just have it sitting there in an account. You can use that money and open up a self-directed IRA, or just, yeah, my suggestion would probably be just to open up a self-directed IRA, and then you can get started with this investment with money that you weren't even putting to work for you. So I really encourage, yeah, exactly. I really encourage people to kind of do a scan of your finances, or, you know, speak to someone like myself, or reach out to a mentor that you may have in the industry to kind of see how you can potentially get started with what you already have.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Another thing that I would say you would potentially need, or I would suggest having in order to invest in mortgage notes, is the actual inventory. You know, obviously, when you're looking to invest in traditional forms of real estate, when I say traditional, again, I talk about wholesaling or rehabbing or rental properties. You want to have either relationships with the large banks or the hedge funds, which is very challenging, especially as a newer investor, or you want to be able to be part of an organization or a program where you're able to have access to inventory. And then the fifth thing I would say is actually having a team put together, or what we consider to have boots on the ground. Because mortgage note investing is a nationwide opportunity, you're not necessarily going to be going to each individual place if you're looking to invest in mortgage notes. So
a lot of work.
Yeah,
a lot of travel,
a lot of time, exactly. I mean, I love to travel, but you know, to warm, nice places.
Right.
So yeah, so having boots on the ground, or having a team in place in the various locations that you're looking to invest, I would say is very important as well. And those can be anyone from having a realtor, having attorneys. A lot of times when you're investing in mortgage notes, you want to make sure that you have a servicer, or what would technically be termed some sort of property management company in place to assist you with those investments. So yeah, those would probably be the key points that I would suggest if you're looking to invest with mortgage notes.
All right, so thank you for that. So now I've heard of two different types of notes, performing and non-performing. Can you just kind of talk about the differences between those two?
Sure, absolutely. So when we think about performing notes, and I'll kind of, I guess, take you through the traditional way of how a property is purchased. Like, let's say for yourself, if you're looking to purchase a property, most people are going to be going to a large bank or institution such as a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, those types of institutions, to request a mortgage in order to be able to have the money to purchase a property. So you as the borrower are going to a bank institution, requesting a mortgage. You're signing a promissory note to say, I promise to pay back this institution this certain amount of money over this length of time. That creates the note. And if that particular borrower continues to make their payments as promised on that note for that property, that is considered a performing note. So the borrower who initially took out a mortgage is making their monthly payments every month until they pay off the loan. That's a performing note. A non-performing note is in that same instance where a borrower goes to a bank institution, they take out a mortgage, they sign a promissory note or a deed to say, I'm going to pay back this certain amount of money over this length of time, but then they end up not being able to continue making payments. So over however long it takes, they are no longer making payments on that mortgage. That is considered a non-performing note. They are not performing, or they're not continuing to perform the action that they promised when they signed the note. And so I think some people would say, okay, well, why would I want to purchase a piece of paper that is no longer performing? And that's when we kind of get more into a lot of the different strategies involved with mortgage note investing, because every investor has a different end goal. whether you're looking to have passive income, which would be more geared towards investing in performing notes, or maybe you're looking to acquire properties at below market value, at a discount. So that would be more of a non-performing note strategy.
Okay, perfect. So with the non-performing, you could potentially end up being a landlord at some point, right?
Possibly, but at this, I mean, when you're looking at non-performing notes, that opens up your possibilities, because yes, if you have to take back the property or foreclose as a traditional bank would, if someone stops paying on their mortgage and you do happen to take back the property, you have options. You can either sell that property as is to a cash buyer and basically not only potentially recoup all of the investment that you put into it, but actually make a profit. You can take back the property, and if it needs to be repaired, you can do the repairs, fix it up, and then resell it to a retail buyer instead of a cash buyer, and then make back again your investment plus profit in that regard. Or you can, like you mentioned, be a landlord and take back the property and then rent it out to someone else. So again, it really depends on your particular strategy and what you're looking to do within your portfolio.
Yeah, because it sounds like there's a lot of options. So you just kind of gotta focus a little bit and say, okay, here's the plan, because you can benefit in a lot of ways from notes, it seems.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, so then that kind of leads me to the next question. What, in your opinion, are the benefits of investing in notes versus, say, like a buy and hold, or versus flipping, or versus, any other type of investment vehicle? Like, why is this a good choice?
I really feel as though mortgage note investing is a true portfolio strategy, especially if you're looking to invest in performing notes. It's really a truly passive cash flow. You have the benefits of a landlord, but you're not having to deal with toilets and tenants and trash. You're essentially you still have the benefits of getting a monthly income, but you're not necessarily associated with all the day-to-day activities of the property. So I think that is one benefit. Again, you have the flexibility of being able to invest in multiple markets without actually having to be there. With the opportunity within mortgage notes, as long as you either have your team in place or you have partners that are in various locations, it really gives you the flexibility to be able to invest in different markets.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, that's mostly what it is. And then I also feel some of the differences between mortgage note investing and some of the more traditional ways of investing in real estate is the longer term strategy. You can invest in some mortgage notes for monthly cash flow, and then you can also, with the possibility of investing in a retirement account, or even again your LLC, you have the ability to generate long-term wealth and build a portfolio. So I think that there are really many opportunities available.
Yeah, definitely. Long-term wealth, that's one of my favorite words. So
yes, right?
I'm very, very excited about those, and I think that that's going to be what's up next for me. So I'm definitely appreciating all this information that you're giving to us today.
Perfect. Thank you. Another major benefit of mortgage note investing as compared to other investments that I forgot to mention is actually having the ability to be the bank. In a lot of these other investments, again, whether it's wholesaling or rehabbing or rentals, you are paying the bank, or you are in some way dealing with the bank. But with mortgage note investing, you are the bank. If we go back to what we were speaking about in terms of performing notes versus non-performing notes, if you purchase a performing note, you are now taking over those payments. The borrower is now making payments to you as if you are Wells Fargo or Bank of America or Chase, because now you are the bank in that scenario. If you happen to purchase a non-performing note and you even though it's non-performing paper and you have to go through the process of taking the property back as if you were the bank, which is generally a foreclosure proceeding, or another type of judicial proceeding. With you taking back that property as the bank, you now have the ability to, like we mentioned, sell it, rehab it, rent it, or anything like that. So I think one of the key benefits and advantages to investing in mortgage note investing is having the ability to be the bank versus paying the bank. And I think that's really important.
Okay, so the moral of the story is we want to be the lender and not the borrower.
Right, because who never loses? The bank never loses.
Never,
so
ever.
If you can put yourself in the position to actually be the bank in your transactions, then you have a greater likelihood of succeeding and profiting.
Sounds awesome. Okay, so we talked about some of the benefits of investing in notes. So what would you say the potential risks are?
Sure. I mean, and I will say that I feel that there's a risk in almost every type of investment. You have to do some research and due diligence beforehand. But when it relates to mortgage notes, I feel like some of the risk can be if you don't do your research on the property beforehand. I mean, not every note is probably the best note. It really depends on your strategy. You want to always look at the area where you're looking to invest and try to make sure that you understand what could happen in each scenario. So if you don't do your proper due diligence and knowing what your numbers are, it's all about knowing your numbers, then I think it could be, a riskier situation for some versus others. Also, and one thing I wanted to mention before is that the difference with mortgage note investing as compared, I think, again, to some other strategies is not necessarily a get rich quick kind of scenario. And so I think some of the risks that are involved are you might not be looking to hold on to an investment for very long. And so I think it's important for people to understand the time that's involved with these investments, because you can have an investment that will last you for 5, 10, 15 years, or you can have something that pays you a little bit more quickly. So the risk is, again, knowing your numbers, being able to do your due diligence, and understanding that this can be a longer term strategy as compared to maybe some of the other investments that are available.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. All right. So, and I know you kind of gave a little bit of a like a summary of the process earlier, but let's say, I'm someone that's brand new with this and I want to get started. Do you have any sort of like educational resources or anything that you could recommend?
Absolutely. And one thing that I'll say for either a new investor to mortgage notes or just a new investor to real estate in general is kind of understanding, as we go back to risk, understanding what your risk tolerance is, and also what you're looking to do within this investment. And what I mean by that is I feel like there are sort of like maybe two kinds of investors. You have your kind of hands-off, passive type of investor that might be looking to just find different ways or different strategies in order to be able to invest in real estate. They have capital. They may not have the time to look for certain investments or look for deals. So that's something that I would provide. I actually have the ability of doing the due diligence and doing the research for a lot of the clients that I work with. So if you are more of a hands-off, I have capital, I'd like to just have deals presented to me and I can
just collect
go
the
through
check.
the numbers, right? just send the money. And just, I'd like to just have deals presented to me to see, okay, is this a yay or a nay? That's one possibility of getting started. And if you are that type of investor, my suggestion would be to align with either an experienced known investor or a mentor within the space that would be able to provide that type of service for you. And again, that's something that I do for clients that I work with. Now
The
the
mentoring.
second type, the mentoring, or even just mostly doing due diligence and looking for
Okay.
investments and being able to provide that type of service.
Okay.
So, and even when I'm doing the due diligence and the research and looking for investments, I still am a sounding board, or I am absolutely there to be able to answer any questions involved with the asset. But it's more of a partnership type of situation in that regard. Now, if you are a newer investor, and you have a more hands-on approach, so if you're looking to get a more educational foundation regarding mortgage loan investing, or if you'd like to do more of the due diligence and the research on your own, my suggestion would be to align with an educational platform or a network that would be able to provide that type of education. One great resource that I would suggest is the Note Assistance Program. That's a program that I am affiliated with, and I have learned tons from that network. So that would be
things about that.
yes. So that would definitely be one of my suggestions if you're newer to mortgage loan investing, or just investing in general, and you're looking for a more hands-on educational approach. I will say that the Note Assistance Program, they do have semi-annual boot camps where they kind of go soup to nuts in terms of mortgage loan investing and how to get started. There is one actually coming up the end of January of next year, or 2021. So I can definitely get you the information for that upcoming boot camp if anyone is interested in attending.
Yeah, for sure. And give me all excuse me. Give me all the information, and I'm gonna, as usual, post everything in the description section so that everybody can just kind of get going.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you so much for all this information. It's really helpful to me personally because, like I said, notes is going to be my next thing.
Perfect.
How can we reach you if someone wants to know more about the mentoring and the services that you provide for people that are interested in investing notes? Like, where can we find you?
Sure. And thank you for having me. I really actually enjoy speaking about notes. I just think it's such a different and exciting kind of investment. So I really appreciated speaking with you today about that. And so if anyone wants to get in contact with me, I do have my website, which is melaninhomes.com. I also have, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn under Melanin Homes. And then I can provide you with all of that information as well.
Okay. All right. So any final thoughts, anything else that you want to cover before we sign off, Lorraine?
I will say that if you are an investor who's kind of going the traditional routes of doing wholesaling and rehabbing and rentals, I would say also look into mortgage notes. This doesn't have to be the end all be all, but it's definitely another tool or another source to add on to your portfolio. I think it's really important, especially as we are in this kind of remote digital world, to be able to be very flexible and expand our opportunities in our network. So I definitely encourage anyone who's interested or listening to either, if you'd like to do more research on your own, or please feel free to reach out to me if you have any additional questions or if I can help in any way. But I really encourage people to get involved because it's a great opportunity.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here today. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you have any questions, anything that we didn't cover, feel free to put that down in the comment section below. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.